Stella, it's a total treat to have you here at RNZ. Face to face even.
Very exciting for me.
Because what are your emotions before you go on stage? I mean, the Solar Power Tour, which you're just about to reintroduce to New Zealand.
Yes, finally.
I'm so excited. It's been too long. But, I mean, it feels like such a huge show beforehand. Do you still get nervous?
So I used to get super, super nervous before I played. Always, my whole life. I had super bad stage fright, whether it was a school play or, like a show for work. And I did a ton of work on that in the time that we were all sort of sitting around at home.
And lockdown.
Really, 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 worked hard on that. And the year prior, and, it's been a real process for me. But I'm now at the point where I'm not waking up the morning of a show full panic, full fear, full dread, because it really was debilitating for months at a time.
How did you get through it?
Well, just like a ton of quite specific therapy, which was awesome. So it means that now going into a show my baseline is totally different. I'm like, what am I feeling? What are they going to be bringing? What's the energy that I've picked up from the city that we're in? Which is, often I'm completely wrong. I'm like, oh, this place seems there might be a bit dour here. And then it's like the most crazy, raging pop dance party of the whole tour. So, but no, I guess I just have to, I don't know. It's just like a zone of focus that you have to go into. I'm totally present and really, really attuned to everything that's happening when I'm on stage. I have to be, and I'm, it's a really interesting sensation to be using your body in this way that all these people are, taking you in. But I've got this set of kind of calculations and thoughts happening to do with what I know to be taking place on stage and off stage, because I'm hearing things in my ears, maybe we're having a technical difficulty and it's taking a few songs to be resolved. I can't let that show in my body, but it's something that's happening for me. So it's like such an intense zone you have to get into. And so I find music to be quite helpful to kind of get me there.
Because it feels so strange that this Solar Power Tour was your third ever world tour. But yet you did 70 plus dates for it.
Yeah.
So you'd really have to prepare yourself for something like that. What happens on those tough days?
It's funny, because you do get tired.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this is our 6th show this week. We're completely exhausted. Someone might be hungover, probably not me, but anything could happen. And so sometimes you just don't feel like doing it. And often I find those to be the best shows because something is brought out of you sort of in spite of yourself. I don't know. It's like it comes from somewhere difficult to pinpoint, which I always think is exciting. I'm like, whoa, I'm having an amazing time up here. And I was so sure that this would suck for me,
Yeah.
But I will say one thing that has been a game changer for me is I started consuming caffeine last year for the first time in my adult life.
Stop. You never drank coffee before?
No. And now I will, before the show, I will crack a sugar-free Red Bull, Charlotte, and I will drink about half of that, and I'm like, wow, the sense of well-being and optimism that I feel is like, I'm like, I see what people are doing with this caffeine thing. So that is also quite helpful to combat, being like, I don't want to do it.
It just gives you that kick.
Gives you wings.
Are you being sponsored by Red Bull?
Oh, God, imagine. It would be amazing. No, it's like total garbage, but it does do the trick.
Oh, my God. I cannot wait to see the Solar Power Tour here in New Zealand. I think what I feel so tingly and excited about is I feel like solar power, and this is very self-centered, but was written for us. Aww. It was written for the New Zealand summer. Maybe it wasn't, but I feel like so much of it represented the New Zealand summer, and now you get to perform those songs to us again. Will it feel different performing solar power songs in Aotearoa, do you think?
Oh, 100%. I mean, you're right. I do think of the album as very much about here, where we're from.
There's insect sounds from New Zealand.
Yeah, no, totally. It's it's very personal, and I feel, the beaches and the sort of like grass that I know here. So I think it will feel, I'm prepared for it to be quite emotional for me, and maybe a little nerve-wracking in a new way, but I'm so excited. I'm just inviting friends left, right and centre. I go into a restaurant I like and I'm like, you should come to the show.
Get on stage with me.
It's all happening. But it's also just, I love the show so much. The set is so beautiful. I'm maybe most proud of this piece of stage design out of anything I've done. I literally drew it on a piece of paper, and it's such an awesome thing to interact with. And there's 8 of us on stage, and the choreography, the movement for the show was done by a woman called Annie B. Parson, who is most famous for creating American Utopia, the show with David Byrne. And she is so incredible, and she was so amazing to work with on this. So having the combination of this piece of set and this like wizard woman who knew how to use people's bodies to just it's just so, I love living in the show. It's just totally delightful to me. So I think it'll be cool. I feel very proud of it and excited. And
I want to ask you more about the stage.
Yeah.
Do we call it stage setup, the stage costume?
Oh, yeah. I guess you can call it what you want.
Can I be cheeky and ask a question? You've spoken about motherhood a little bit. Even in one of your songs, you speak about your future daughter. Is that something that you aspire to? You want to be a mother one day?
Yeah. I sort of have always seen myself being a parent.
Imagine being your mum. Imagine having your mum as my mum.
Oh, God. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to, you can't swear on RNZ, right?
I don't know. A little bit.
You can't, I was going to say fuck it up. I'm sure I'll make as many mistakes as, every parent does. But I was one of 4, and I really felt how incredible that work is, parenting, mothering. And it just benefited me so greatly. And I think there's like real magic in it. And it also just seems fun to have these little mates cruising around, I mean, it's definitely delineation between like popstar, I'm sure it would really usher in a new chapter, but totally, I'd love to do that someday.
It's from experience, it's so nice. But last year, I've suffered the most anxiety ever from my 14, almost 15-year-old. So it's beautiful. And then it gets into this like...
That's the period, yes. Yeah. I remember it well.
What were you like as a 14-year-old? Were you...
What was I like? I think I was a bit naughty. I was sort of like playing around with being naughty after being a very good girl for a long time. But around that time was when I started sort of properly taking music seriously. My mum was like, cut it out, it's time, like you've got this opportunity, you're going to just squander it before you even know if you want to do it. And that sort of kind of called me. I was like, okay, well, I got to give this a go. And then I met Joel and we started writing together, and very quickly in that I was like, oh, being naughty is completely pointless. Like I found the thing that stretches me and, asks a lot of me, and it was just over, So I was like, I did start working quite early,
I know.
That's the start of my work life. I was just like, boom.
Because 14, which was the age we were just talking about, is that when you signed to Universal? Was it?
I signed to Universal at 12, which is really crazy, I know.
Do you think, even when you were 14, did you have any anticipation of what the future could hold? Did you dream and aspire to have the success that you had?
It's funny, Charlotte. I did. I was a very ambitious kid, creatively ambitious. I knew what I wanted to make, and I felt that there was something that I wanted that wasn't there. And I just sort of had this thought that I'm going to do it and it's going to be really great. I don't know what to chalk that up to. I'm nowhere near that confident in my own ability now, but as a teenager, I just believed that I knew what I was doing. And I think that's just honestly because I read so much and I knew that everything that was like coming through me was, I was like, well, I've read all this great stuff. So that has like informed my writing and
Unworldly.
you know what I mean? It wasn't just me being awesome. I was like, it's Carver and Tobias Wolff and, you know, all these Salinger, I don't know, whoever I was reading at the time. Like, so.
Do you think, like on reflection, that was naive?
Well, I was right, wasn't I? So it's sort of a funny thing. Like, but
it's funny.
I mean, of course, there's naivete in that. You would
No, but
only
you
have
always
that thought
wish-
because you didn't know.
Exactly,
You know?
which is a blessing.
But also, yeah, I was really raised being told I could do absolutely anything and that I was special, you know. And I think that's a huge part of it. That wasn't something that I doubted, which I'm aware is a huge gift. Like, I think I definitely know people who had to sort of arrive there rather than just knowing it as a given. So
how does it feel then reflecting over the last 10 years since your debut album came out? What are the emotions that you think of when you think about it? Is it kind of like, wow, it's gone fast, or has it gone, what is it?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's been so amazing, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe this is my life. I feel so lucky. I love what I do. I can't believe, like, the places I've gotten to go. You know, the experiences I've had. I'm like, if this was it tomorrow, I would have had a great, great run. Like, I just feel, that's my overwhelming feeling is, as a teenager, I didn't think any of it was that crazy because it was just my life, you know. But I can see now, oh my God, you lucky little so-and-so, like how incredible. So that is really my overwhelming feeling. It does feel quite fast in a way. I really felt it turning 26. I was like, oh, okay, we're on the other side of something now. We're going somewhere different, you know.
And also
It feels
album
like
3.
Album 3, like all this sort of stuff. I feel way more like settled in what I can do, you know, and even like the process of building the show with lots of people who I've worked with for 10 years, you know, something about getting back together for a third time and being like, okay, we really do know how to do this now, you know, that muscle memory will kick in. So yeah, it's so cool.
On the Solar Power tour, you performed in Croatia. Was that the first time?
Yes, my first time being in Croatia. It was completely wild.
Did you resonate with it?
Oh, totally. I mean, the whole time I was having this bizarre experience of feeling like I'd been there before. You know, there was sort of similarities to Aotearoa in a funny way. The water, we sort of like went swimming heaps and ate tons of seafood, and it was just so amazing. And then we played on this like cliff top. There's like a fortress on the cliff overlooking the ocean. We sort of had to like drive up this little road. It was so crazy. And yeah, it was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe that like people knew who I was in Croatia. And they knew who my mum was.
Yeah,
they were like
yeah.
cheering. They were saying, Sonia, Sonia, Sonia. She was like a celebrity. It was so moving. I actually felt like overwhelmed by how moving it was.
Do they call you one of theirs? Are they like, you're Croatian, you're one of us?
I got that vibe. Yeah, I did get that vibe. It was, it was just it was such an amazing moment that
I saw some social media footage and it just looked incredible. And I'm not sure whether it was that venue or another amazing one somewhere else in Europe. But you and Marlon performed together and sung one of your songs in Te Reo in Māori.
Yeah, we did.
I wonder what that would have been like, singing in Māori, overseas in Europe.
Yeah.
It felt like the audience loved it, or you had them in the palm of your hand. But tell me about that.
Yeah, that was really amazing. We'd sort of talked about doing it the whole tour. Marlon came on tour in Europe with me, which was so gorgeous. Like, to have one of your gorgeous mates from home, you know, come and play and seeing everyone react to him and, you know, just these audiences like totally falling in love in the way that we all fall in love with Marlon. And then getting like a cuddle before we would go out, he would always join us for our band warm up and come and sing because he's one of the vocalists on Solar Power. So he knows all the parts super well. So we'd always be like cuddling. I'd be drinking my Red Bull. I'd be like, I'm tired, Marlon. He'd be like, I know. Such a cozy environment. So yeah, we'd sort of like I was like, we should sing something together, one of the waiata. And we ended up doing Mata Kohore, which was so special and so beautiful. And we were both like, we did it right at the end of the tour. We were like, we should have been doing this the whole time. Why didn't we? Why did we wait? But it was definitely, a little. I mean, more than a little. It's heavy. That's a big responsibility to sing live in Te Reo, not have the sort of safety net of the studio and the ability to edit and all this sort of stuff. So we really wanted to get it right. But that's something I'm looking forward to doing on this tour is hopefully singing all of the waiata, so
yeah, I wondered that.
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool.
That EP was so beautiful.
Thank you.
It was so special. It did cause a tiny bit of controversy.
Tiny bit? Yeah, no, totally. It was like an amazing... sorry, you go. You were talking.
Well, no, I was just going to say, how do you reflect on it now? No regrets?
Oh, no.
Good.
No.
Good.
No, I feel as proud of it as I did, the day before we released it. I feel mainly grateful for the conversation that it generated and the... how do I put it? I feel that to be a person in public, to be a public figure, part of why we need people that are famous is for them to sort of bring things up that allow us to discuss things, feel things, work through things as people, as a society, and to feel that happening around me, even though, it's like a place of discomfort, I couldn't have felt more grateful for it, because that's what it's all about. I knew what my intention was, and I knew how my collaborators felt about what we had made. And so, to be able to feel all that was coming up was actually like really incredible for me. And I'm super, super grateful for it, which sounds like something that sounds like a fake answer, but it's actually one of my career highlights. To have been able to bear witness to something like that.
Yeah, you're so right about the conversations. Because we had conversations,
That's how we move. That's how things move through,
And they might be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that's almost how we grow. And yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Can we talk about South America just quickly? Because sounds like that part of your Solar Power tour was just absolutely nuts. Like, you had 6 security guards looking after you.
Can you believe that? That's psychotic.
I sort of can, though.
It's insane, Charlotte. I can't believe it. Like,
but
that's crazy.
When I think of a big pop star, I would assume that.
Me too, but,
Well, that's the weird thing that you and I have spoken about before, and what Solar Power, a lot of the theme of Solar Power is that juxtaposition between you being a pop star and then coming back to New Zealand and being Ella, or being Lorde, but here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
When you had those 6 security guards, did you feel safe?
I mean, I felt safe, but it's kind of a buzzkill, You're like, I would open my hotel room door and there was just a man sitting there all night. I guess in case someone wanted to break in and like kill me, it's sort of it does put you in touch with your own like mortality in a funny way, like Jesus. But no, they're all super cool guys. Really, really liked them all.
But people over there are quite intense with you, aren't they?
Well, there's just a really amazing, like, robust fan culture there in general. So everyone is like a little bit more famous, everyone in my position. And the fans are really just active. They really go to shows. They will come outside the hotel. They're just in it, which is I find super awesome and fun. And the shows are always incredible.
Just wild, the energy.
So beautiful. And they've a number of kids that would have the most beautiful little handmade, solar power earrings or T-shirts or, little, I don't know, just there's so much creativity that they bring. It's just always so awesome for me to get to go there. I'm in South America right now and you guys are doing this, It's
I know.
surreal.
And then you come back to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Even though you and I have discussed it and you've obviously thought a lot about that juxtaposition of the fame and then coming back here, has your processing of those thoughts made it easier?
Well, I think, it's good because things like that week or 2 weeks in South America are very much anomalies. That is pretty uncommon for me. And I really like it that way. I feel super lucky that my life does look how I would want it to look, all things considered, being in a position like this. I have a huge amount of freedom and I really, one of the things is a non-negotiable for me is being able to walk around a city. Wherever I am, I need to walk. If I can't go outside, if I can't take myself for a 2-hour walk, I feel totally disconnected and weird. And, that's when it starts to, for me, I would struggle to weigh that up and be like, okay, well, I can't walk around, but, I get to do this cool job. That's when maybe I'd be like, it's time to, become a hermit.
So how many security guards go on your walk? 3 or 4
I couldn't really
you.
go for walks in South America.
You couldn't?
No. I would, I'd go for lots of walks on the treadmill, which was quite depressing. I was just like, what am I doing with my life? But no. For the most part, there's no security guard on the walk.
It's so weird because I was, of course, thinking of this and all your security guards because you send out these newsletters and everything. And then I think, and excuse me saying this, and, of course I can edit it, but yesterday I was walking home from work and I saw this babe blonde in these pink bike pants.
Oh my God.
And I was like, and she was running along Newton Gully.
Oh my God.
And I think it might have been you.
Yeah, it probably was me.
And I was like, that is so cool that you can do that in your country. There's no...
It's Kiwis though. It's not like people are. There's the understanding, Also, I think I've probably literally met everyone that lives here. There's no appeal to my physical presence anymore,
yes,
as it should be. No, I'm very happy. But yeah, that would have been me.
And sorry if you get tired for asking this question, but I wanted to ask you then about your social media, because social media feels like such an obvious place to, reach your audience, sell tickets, sell albums, do all that stuff. And I've really admired how private you've been through the lack of social media in a sense as well. How do you, has that changed? I remember you talking about it years ago and it just, was distracting you like it does for so many of us. But where do you feel now, or how do you feel now about social media?
Well, I still don't have access to it on my phone. I can go on it on my computer, I think, sometimes. But I have really put distance between myself and that, just sort of for my peace of mind, I guess. But I do think that there are times when I miss, that sort of communication with people, and I can see how people need that. That's the primary way that we are all communicated with, both by people we know and people we don't know. So I have been thinking about, ways to sort of do that without doing it. And every once in a while I'll just pop up and post a bunch of stuff on a story and then disappear again,
And the world goes crazy and Pitchfork writes about it.
Wow. But yeah, so we'll see. It's sort of like, I'm sure it will always be moving. But I sort of missed, it surprised me that I missed hearing from people or feeling connected to people in that way.
Well, I wondered too with the touring, and especially, say, going back to South America, for example, they would have gone like crazy on social media around you touring. Like sometimes I wondered if that would feed you or as a creative and give you like, buzz. And do you miss that?
Oh, well, I've always been quite careful about that because I think it's a slippery slope. If you're getting energy or validation from that source, I think at some point you're going to be in trouble. I try to, and I don't think really anyone, no matter what I don't think anyone that's getting compliments on social media is like, you're not feeling that. You're not like, oh, I feel incredible because of this thing someone's just said about me. You're looking for the bad thing, and then you're like, that is me. I am that comment embodied. So it's never personally had like that kind of pumping up effect on me. And I have been quite careful about it. But
Yeah.
it is so sweet. I mean, some things I see and I'm like, oh, God, you little crazy kids. It's so awesome.
I know.
Like, kids are amazing. Like, it's incredible. All the stuff they make, I'm blown away.
I know. I can't wait to see what the New Zealanders have made for you or done for you.
Oh,
there are
so
so many of us so excited to finally see you. Of course, this tour was meant to happen last year. It's finally happening. You're calling it Reintroducing the Solar Power Tour. And this is the album that was kind of made for us this summer. Someone in the office asked me, are you going to get up with Elton John? He played last night and plays tonight. They were like, you could be Kiki. Don't go breaking my heart.
Oh, wow. I mean, listen, anything could happen. But
and you're taking your full set.
yes.
So it looks beautiful.
Thank you.
And the colours are amazing. Any costume changes? Apparently sometimes you do 2 or 3 costume changes a show.
Yes, that's right. I usually end up wearing like 4 different things, full pop star. And yeah, the show is just, the set is so awesome. So it's a sort of take on a sundial, and I really wanted to like use materials that felt kind of like of the earth, so it's sort of like cut out of stone, and there's this incredible like silk moment in there, and it's just the textures are so beautiful, and the forms we really spent so long, me and my designer Kiara, sort of nailing down the exact proportions for this thing because there's sort of nowhere to hide. It's quite simple.
Does it move? Does the stage move?
It does
at all?
move.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't believe you're bringing it here. That would have cost a lot to fly it to New Zealand.
Yeah. In this economy, Charlotte. No, it's cool. I would only ever want to bring the full thing down here, so I'm glad that we can make it happen.
Oh my gosh. Well, tickets are on sale now. I cannot wait. Lorde, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much. This was a pleasure.
Lorde, have fun, and I can't wait to see you at as many gigs as I can make it to.
Thank you, Charlotte.